Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Connor coming to you with another 1v1 from Company of Heroes 2. Today we're going for two titans of the arena. In the east over here playing the United States forces, it's Jove. And in the west, playing the Wehrmacht, it is Pauly D. And Pauly D apparently is going like whole like fanboy moment here. He's already thrown down mobile defense doctrine. Joe, for his part, he is bringing to the fore heavy cav company, cannot talk, tactical support company, and armor company. No call-in just yet in terms of commanders. Instead, it just seems that Pauly D is just blown away by what he's got coming before him, and is definitely rushing out with a couple of grenadiers, a machine gun, and it's Kolodny Ferma, but it's not winter. Like I said last time we had this map, it is just green. It is beautiful. It's a nice sunny day, or as sunny as you can get in the middle of Russia. I couldn't tell you for sure. It's been a while since we actually have seen Jove, but Jove is one of those guys who's been around since pretty much the existence of Company of Heroes. You just have to like face to the west and pray for Jove's survival. And Jove's real just massive success. That being said, that's not going to be saying that we're really rooting for either player on this map, but I'm really hoping that Jove can kind of put on a clinic so that way we can see how to play USF into Wehrmacht. As things stand completely out of the blue, it will look like Joe's going to pick up his fuel a little bit quicker than the Germans. Definitely a high interest thing for most players out there. And one that really I kind of realize now is something that needs to be necessarily made a comment to for most players. Really, when you're trying to determine what sectors to get, it's probably better to go for fuel first, then things that connect to fuel, then munitions, then things that connect to munitions, and then strategic points. Of course, VPs are in there somewhere, but that's kind of more of a, tempo of the game, really, as opposed to really when to race for one or the other. Of course, your test might vary slightly, and as you see right now, like Pauly D is not really worried too much about grabbing early fuel, mostly because I think he's waiting until 5 commander points to start bringing in the Puma, using that as his light vehicle, and then going for a Panzer command tank later on. Pauly D is definitely known for doing that in recent months, and I don't see any reason he'll stop doing that now. Jove, in the meantime, going for trip rifleman, kind of a very standard opening. Get the rear echelon kind of palling around. He's going to come down here grabbing this munitions point. And finally, after about almost 3 minutes, the Germans will pick up their fuel. It doesn't sound like that much of a big deal until you realize that we already have ourselves a lieutenant. Not a lieutenant, excuse me. Wow, that's just the mortar team. I was thinking for some reason that this was the platoon command post. My bad. I'm waiting for an early lieutenant, but it probably is going to be a captain. It seems like Jove might just play into the U.S. meta right now, trip rifleman, mortar, steward, to kind of establish that consistent map presence. Germans do have the middle of the field locked down, at least until this mortar starts unloading volleys of high explosive shells into that church. God may not be too happy about that, but their major will, I'm sure. Grenadiers, in the meantime, are going to go for a decap over on this strategic point, cut off all the American fuel, and be kind of an issue for the Americans listed initial point. But seeing as how they've done the same thing to the Germans, I guess it's turnabout is fair play. And the machine gun does intelligently decide to back away instead of taking rounds through the roof. Rear echelons, in the meantime, do slide down over here to the south to pick up this strategic point again, get everything back into supply. And a couple of these riflemen, it seems like these grenadiers are probably outflanked and might even be forced to buy it. They're bugging out. Never mind. They are out of here, folks. And Jove is, in fact, going to be calling in that captain. So while his fuel was impacted at just a marginal bit, not a huge amount, but a marginal bit,
a capture point is being overrun.
He is still on track to really being that kind of standard opening for the United States these days. 469 to 500. It is a 2-to-1 cap in favor of Pauly D, but that's not going to last much longer. And indeed, you're going to see this machine gun getting outflanked by rear echelons. And for transitions to actually move the other direction, you will see it getting whooped by riflemen. But no, instead, he just decaps the point and bugs out. Captain is on the battlefield now. Probably not going to see... Oh no, we are going to see a very, very quick bazooka coming out. Looking for that soft AT. Against kind of any kind of early material for Pauly D. But Pauly D is not really teching up. Is he teching up now? Finally he is. There we go. We're going to see Battle Phase 1 coming out for him, which means perhaps a 2-2-2 at the most. I can't see him investing too heavily in light vehicles with a Puma as an opportunity. Maybe at best it'll be a light half-track. Not entirely too sure about that. We'll see. Grenadiers, though, over here picking up this strategic point, and that's really all Pauly D's been able to do in recent minutes. I mean, it is, of course, only 5.5 minutes in. He has teched up, though. He's teching up all the way now to Battle Phase 1. He's the medic station done. But when rear echelons are telling mainline infantry to take a hike, that's kind of a problem. Up north as well, we're seeing a meeting engagement between riflemen and grenadiers. And every single time, those grenadiers get shot up and pushed away. Probably the only good thing right now for Pauly D is the fact that there is no ammo out in the field to heal up the American troops. It's probably the only saving grace he's really got. But with 2 mortars now on the field, anywhere that the Germans are as any kind of static position, they will not be for very long. See that garrison already taking fire, rounds coming, impacting on the building, dropping just barely short perhaps. And these riflemen could have taken that position, but it appears they are going to just be happy enough with just kind of decapping. Mortars in the meantime are just resetting themselves, going to start dropping rounds on top of the grenadiers in this German push. And yep, that's about right. That's about right. Over in the north, we're going to see these riflemen are finally going to get pushed away. There we go, they're booking it out of there. So while the U.S. has a slight advantage, and I say slight, it's not too big, but it's big enough to note. Pauly D is not taking this lightly. He's putting a flamethrower on top of his Pios, who are going to get savaged if they go anywhere close back to the front line. Don't know if they want to do that. Don't know if they want to do that. Impacting rounds. One more round's going to drop right on that squad. No, instead. It drops north. Stewart coming out into the field. Going to be a very, very good thing for Jove at this time. He's really not going too far out of the meta. And the Germans are just not reeling, but they're kind of a little bit lost-ish. Stewart's coming to the north, going to be positioning itself to put pressure back on this machine gun, I imagine. A fairly late ambo coming out, just past 8 minutes. And the machine gun does manage to decap the munitions point, but it's going to have to book it out of there. Wow, almost dead. Is he gonna buy it? I don't know, but it does look like it's going to be a trip cap for the Americans, at least for the initial time. Stewart with that evil mouth coming up. And I'm going to guess he's going to redeploy to the north to push back that other machine gun. No, he's not. He's going to kind of chill it. Oh, never mind. Here we go. So it was a trip cap for the Americans for about 3 seconds. And Leichter Mechanized Company has been called in for the Germans, been constructed. But if I were a machine gun, I'd book it out of there. So they do. So like, I think I left the kettle on, and then they just bolt. Good idea. Pauly D showing some small signs of life down here to the south, picking up the strategic point, but not a whole lot to write home about, especially when his captain's over here whooping on this machine gun. He might be able to take out the machine gun. Can there be first blood? First blood? No, instead he's going to get suppressed. And he retreats back across half the map. Unfortunate. Hey, but 9 minutes in, he's got to be pretty happy being up 55 tickets. Well, 50 tickets? Yeah, math is not my strong suit, but we'll figure that out together. 50 tickets, even though he's dropping some munitions right about now, these mortars are just kind of like, okay, bro, all right, we're losing positions right now. Got to be on top of this. And those rounds impacting on the Pios are going to stay just enough to decap the position, I think, before being forced away. In the south, Grenadiers picking up this munitions point. It'd be good for Pauly D, but not great. And shockingly, there's a mortar coming out for Pauly D, so GR-34, Granatwerfer. And now, when he's going to be going up against the BARs, because weapon racks were unlocked by the Americans, not what you want to really see too often. No, sir. 468, 388, it's going to be at least 100 tickets before the Germans take enough points to be competitive. And again, this machine gun is hiding behind this wood pile, but he's not able to achieve a whole lot while doing so. So now he's going to move that MG42 up just barely enough. Oh, wait, is he still out of range? No, he's just barely out of range. Now, if he slides him up right here, barely on the firing arc. But I imagine we'll see some mortar rounds impacting there before too much longer. And with things like this Stuart still on the field, really the only... My gosh, just rounds impacting everywhere. Really the only thing that the Germans can do right now is... toss out a pack? Because right now, even though they are controlling certain positions, certain firing arcs on the map, doesn't mean they're going to have long-term fire suppression. Even like right now, this MG42 is not able to prevent a trip cap coming down. 2 more Grenadier squads coming from Pauly D. He's dropped a squad or 2. And although he's trying to do the same thing to his opponent, it's not going to happen. I would really like to see some AT, some strong AT coming out from Pauly D. He's got nothing right now.
We have a fresh Grenadier squad.
Fausts are not going to be enough, and the machine guns are not going to do a whole lot if the Stuart can just kind of run on in and remove them without really any kind of bother. Wondering that, does he see? He does see the mortar. There we go. Let's see that. Yeah, that's what I meant to see there. Oh, no, there, no, never mind, there we go. Cool. So yeah, he did see the mortar. It's a little weird. Mortar's going to be forced back rather quickly. And this machine gun racing back through the American lines. It's probably going to get picked up. Yep, there it goes. And Jove's not going to miss an opportunity. He's going to pick up that gun. And he's going to book it back to base. You want to have that MG42... Never mind.
We lost a gun crew.
Never mind.
We're losing a capture point.
And yet, despite small victories like that, are small, at least, you know, not defeats, the Germans are still getting kicked around.
Enemy forces have 300 points.
12 minutes in, they'll be barely dropping about 30 VPs at the absolute most.
Capture point is under attack.
You have to like laugh as Jove puts on it. This is a clinic, by the way. This is the kind of build order you want to emulate if you want to really see some success in your games. Go trip rifleman, go into at least one mortar, go for the meta. But a big part of that meta is knowing when to engage in different positions. As of right now, you did see in the first beginning portions of the map, Jove was concentrating on the north, but he did have at least one squad in the south shifting around, trying to retake some of these areas, or if absolutely nothing else, decap away from the Germans.
These are swarming one of our emplacements.
And you're seeing right now doing 2 things as well. You see him going out in 2 squad elements as well. 1 rifleman and a captain, not at all times, but often enough that you'll see the fire suppression gain pretty quickly with some soft AT to back him up.
We're losing a capture point.
And there's that Puma we were talking about. So Pauly D, yeah, was just trying to hang out long enough to get that Puma on the field, not looking to waste any army supply on a pack. And I think that's kind of a mistake. I think the Stuart has been effective enough that bringing a pack in would have been a much better option than waiting for that Puma for minute 13. Mortars lofting rounds on the middle part of the map, and in the north, Grenadiers are going to get shot up by the Stuart and the attendant rifleman. Excuse me, the attendant captain, rather. Puma announced its presence, and although the Stuart is in the field, are we going to see enough anti-tank grenades? Oh no, 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 no. In fact, the bazooka misses, and probably going to see a dead Stuart. But doesn't mean that that Puma's going to make it away either.
Vehicle just got destroyed.
Damaged engine, a second Puma's been called in, and there's a machine gun right there, so Jove actually taking a slight hit to his expansion, floating a ton of manpower right about now, 800 manpower and 170 fuel. If he's not taking up or using it, I don't know what he's doing with it. We're going to see that that Stuart does in fact die. 460 to 258, we finally are going to see some tickets draining off of the Americans. But all things considered, they're still in a really strong position. Pumas are not the best when it comes to AAT. Not the best against infantry. In fact, they're kind of very substandard. Only really firing those iron core shells as opposed to high explosives. And as such, are not great at hitting in those little rapidly moving individuals. Rifle grenade comes out. But Jove, oh my gosh, that's a master micro kind of guy right there. He just hops in, hops out, so the dust fly out after the last model was leaving, but not able to actually impact in the long run. And those mortars continue to loft their rounds in, taking out squad members left and right. How many kills do those things have? 9 and 6. It feels like they've got like every single kill on the map for the Americans, at least for me. This machine gun over here has just hopped into this house and is going to be there just long enough, I'm guessing, to suppress. But if I were them, yep, booking it out of this, good idea. And yep, we did just see actually the machine gun, excuse me, the BARs from the riflemen take out a squad of grenadiers. Forgive me for missing that just now. But I did see a last little tick drop off there. So while there's a vehicle advantage in exchange for an infantry advantage, I think at this point I would probably take the infantry advantage of Jove over Pauly D's current double Puma. By the way, something you tend to see very often with mobile defense is trying to stall out for a Puma to, like I said, be that light vehicle until you can get the Panzer Command Tank later on. The problem with that is that while the Puma is effective, say light AT, I say light only because of the actual combat ability of the vehicle in the long run. See, like a bazooka takes out 16 to 18% of its health pretty easily. In the late game, the Panzer Command Tank is not a strong opportunity. It's not. The short barrel does not allow you to have any kind of AT whatsoever in the long run.
Crowds are taking one of our points.
And now look, double Zooks coming out of the captain. And that Puma's forced to retreat. The other Puma charges deep in. Not sure why he's doing this. Good gosh, he's looking for an ambo? Is that what he's trying to do here? I do not agree with this at all. He's going for a deep run to kind of see what's going on over here. Yep, he's going for the ambo. Ambo might die, but there's going to be a Sherman on the field pretty quickly. His medics are just like, bro, I got this. Oh, yeah. I've never seen medics used by themselves. In fact, I've only ever really seen them hopping out and immediately dying. So one Puma goes down in a very, very strange trade for Pauly D's ideas, but it has allowed him to pick up a couple of points on this map. And this BAR down here is not going to do a whole lot when there's a minefield and a flamethrower. So the guy's going to hate it pretty good. In the north, even though we're even going to see it be a trip cap for the Germans, I think. Kind of wondering why this machine gun's not switching place with this grenadier. Can we see a dead grenadier squad? No, we're not. Medics are still on the field, though. These guys are going to be hopping up and around. Let's actually take a quick look at these bombs for a second. You don't ever get to see these guys. Dude, they're 1911 Colts. Kind of adorable right there. I have actually never seen medics anywhere out from the home base territory there. Sherman is on the field, though, and with that bad boy on the field, yeah, that Puma does decide to back away. Not just even slowly. He's going to book it to the other side of the world. Probably a good idea there. And that's the reason why you don't have a light tank to a line tank fight. Medium tank is going to take out that Puma 8 days a week and 3 times on Saturday. Now the medics had been bravely trying to seize territory, but if you're a medic, you are there to heal people. You are not there to take anything from anyone. And those that more shown than what just happened right there. Grenadiers are going to find the American Granatgewehrs and force both them into a very, very quick retreat. But the captain himself has come up for another frustration decap, and there goes the fuel for the Germans. And there we go. We'll say 3, 2, 1, but nope, a little bit quicker count than that. And down here, it's like me and you and me, both of us together. Or the centipede, one or the other. Either way, I don't want to see that happen ever again in the wartime. And the captain is, for some reason, going toe-to-toe with a mortar crew. Not sure why that's going on there. But the Sherman is back on the fray, and he is just so trying to support this somewhat abortive infantry push from these riflemen. He does force back the machine gun very, very quickly. But it seems wherever he is, the Germans are not. But wherever the Germans aren't, his troops are. Like these riflemen right now coming in behind this machine gun, forcing them into a very, very quick retreat. And he has a flamethrower on them. Oh my gosh, BARs and a flamethrower. That is actually kind of scary. And the third Puma's been called in. I'm not sure I agree with that one. This is not going to go well. He's going to ping off the armor. Oh, not even. If he misses, that's a problem. Even firing AP? Yeah, he's firing AP. So maybe it's not the most fair of fights. Rear echelons in the meantime trying to take the middle part of the field again. Yep, they do, and book it out of there as soon as possible. ASAP. And the Puma goes, wait, can't I take the territory? And the Pioneer's like, no, bro, we got this. But between the two mortars, the life expectancy of a German infantryman in the center part of the map is pretty slim. Especially when you call in this 57 mil, he's going to get one shot off at least. Question, will he hit? No, he won't. No, he won't. He gets out just barely before the rifleman can get any kind of line of sight there for one, or actually destroy them for another. 412 to 199. Now, like I said, Jove is just wrecking Paulie D, which is a shock too, because Paulie D is definitely one of the more respected individuals of the community. But it's just not going well. Major in the south, though, is coming down underneath. Oh no, but he's throwing down a rapid barrage. Awesome. You never see this happening. He's pinned. He's pinned, but can the rounds come down on top of that machine gun? No. No, he is not. There we go. And just if that round had come down any sooner, we could have seen an actual dead squad, but we do not. Instead, we see the Germans limping their way into a fourth Puma for some god-awful reason. In the north, we can see these riflemen take out a squad of grenadiers. Yep, there they go. And although they're taking fire from this MG42, it is starting to become an allied map. Sherman charging forwards. He's going to start playing Minesweeper with S-mines, which is going to be adorable. Just kaboom under his treads. Charge, my friend, charge. Oh, no, mines detected. Well, he's not going to get, lose that right there, I imagine. So he destroys one mine, and he leaves the rear echelons to take care of the other ones. Not completely unsurprising there. Now, I know this wasn't a smoke barrage coming out of the mortars, but I kind of think it should have been. Kind of either way, the riflemen are just taking rounds like crazy from this MG42. Not surprising at all. In the north, these riflemen are getting pushed back by a squad of grenadiers and two Pumas. But that's not going to last long. I mean, the Sherman's going to shift back up there, and with a 57 mil there for a backstop, it will not be good for the Germans to be hanging around for too long. Meantime, we'll finally be a heavy cav company being called in for Jove. 23 minutes in, though, and it doesn't look like he really needs that much help from the actual commanders. Major, though, might find himself dying if he doesn't back off. There he goes. He finally backs away. And Jove is really just kind of killing time, just waiting for the moment to call in that Pershing. But that Pershing is another 2 or 3 minutes off. And both Pumas are charging this Sherman. One immediately dies, getting hammered by 1-2 punch of the 57 mil and the bazooka. Main gun's been destroyed in that now too, and now the other bazooka takes it out. He is just going to run into the forest and just die. 402 to 176, and the Germans are in bad shape, my friends. Yes, both mortars are forced to retreat, and yes, that Sherman requires some repairs, but it's really just kind of paint that's chipped on his bad self there. And it still is a 1-0 cap, and it's going to be a 2-1 very, very quickly. Or is it? Zook fires off, looking over, trying to kill that machine gun. It's not going to happen. And 2 squads of Osttruppen are being called in by Paulie D. That kind of shows you how dire things are. Osttruppen are good when they don't have to move. And they have to move. So they're not going to be that great. Don't be fooled by the fact that right now the Germans are taking back portions of this map. No, no, sir. That is just only a momentary setback for the Americans. I like 5 bazookas on the field. And now they have a smoke grenade out on this infantry. And they still have a rifleman with a flamethrower. It's just shocking to me. Coupled with the mortars have just been doing work all game. And I would not be surprised to see...
We got a new unit ready and...
Yep, there's the Pershing. Oh my gosh, rifleman just throwing flames at these charging German infantry. Coupled with the mortars now being thrown into the fray, and my god, this game has just become a slaughter, hasn't it? Medics are even getting in on it, pretending that they're only there to save life, not trying to take it and unmake it as well as they can with their pistols. These guys are bosses right now. It's like, you know what? I don't need an actual rifle. I'm just going to use a stupid stinking pistol, man. 402 to 142, and the Pershing has announced itself. And there's nothing Pauly D can do about this right now. He's got absolutely nothing. Any kind of AT that he's got is going to be way too long. These munitions are in a wreck. Yep, and there's Pauly D calling it out. So he's surrendered real quick. So guys, that's just under a 26-minute game. Well played to Jove. And guys, again, like I said, if you want to really want to know how to play USF, watch Jove. If you get the opportunity to, the guy knows how to play the game, and he rocks and socks it like nobody I know. Nevertheless, well played to both troops. Unfortunately, Pauly D, you went up against one of the Titans today, and yeah, that's how it went. Nevertheless, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you all next time. This is Conor Work signing off. Take it easy.